Namaste.
Namo Namaha.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Namassarvebhyaha.
Namaskar, Namaskar.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram. Yeah.
Okay. 2 minutes are up. Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody except maybe 2 people max can join for the prayer. Everybody else, please mute and switch off your videos if you have them on. I am not switching on my video either. Okay, let's start the prayers. Om Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadantam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Vakyakaram Vararuchim
Vakyakaram Vararuchim.
Bhashyakaram Patanjalim
Ashakaram Patanjalim.
Paninim Sutrakarancha
Parinim Sutrakaram Cha.
Pranatosmi Munitrayam
Pranatosmi Munitrayam.
Atha Maheshwara Sutrani
Atha Maheshwara Sutrani.
Ayun
Ayun.
Lilik
Rilrik.
Evong
Eong.
Ayouch
Ayouch.
Ayavarat
Ayavarat.
Gan
Dan.
Nyamangananam
Yamagaranam.
Jabhanya
Jabhanya.
Ghadadash
Gharddash.
Jabagadadash
Jabagardash.
Kapha Chatata Chatatav
Kapa Chatata. Chatatau.
Kapai
Kapai.
Shasasar
Shasar.
Al
Al.
Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani.
Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani.
Any questions? Let's go back to our text where we stopped. All right. So we were getting.
I have one question, please. Can you just reiterate what difference between guna and vriddhi, please?
Okay. Actually, there is no commonality between guna vriddhi. Guna is a set of 3 specific vowels, which is A, and O.
Okay.
Okay. And vriddhi is 3 other vowels, a set of 3 other vowels, which are A, dirgha A, and I and O. They're there for a specific reason. They're mentioned because you might have heard the name Guna Sandhi and Vriddhi Sandhi.
Right.
Because we are getting into the topic of that, so she gave the definition what Guna and Vriddhi mean. It is nothing but those three letters are called Guna for a specific reason. Okay, and the other three letters are called Vriddhi for, Panini gives a notation. It is easier for him to say that rather than listing all the three letters. So that is all to it.
Okay.
Given for three specific letters because they have some purpose as a group.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Where is that Guna Vriddhi? Which page it is? Okay, yeah, here. So just that. Okay, there are sutras, but we are not getting into the sutras yet because I'll introduce into the Paninian sutras how to generally read and the very common features of interpreting the sutras at the basic level. When we get into the Swara Sandhi, because that is when the textbook mentions about Panini Sutras. Okay, till then, she doesn't mention. So at that time, I will give a little more information about the sutras. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Little away.
Very clear.
Okay. I'm a little away from the microphone. It is not.
No, you're fine. I mean, your volume is perfect.
Okay. So that is it. Guna is A, E, O, and Vriddhi is A, I, O. Okay.
Okay.
And in the Sandhi, A and O comes a lot more often, very often. Okay. And in the Sandhis, A and A in Guna and Vriddhi Sandhis are very rarely seen. They are there for a different purpose. But AO as part of Guna Sandhi and IO as part of Guna Sandhi, we will see almost all the examples in those two words, those two letters.
Oh.
Okay?
Yes.
Let's go further. Letter size big enough? It is a little too big for me. Okay, where did my page go? Okay. Some features about the sandhis. So we were in, I think we finished this page. So we are on page 15. Okay, we're starting on page 15. So where to apply sandhi? Okay, so sandhis are sometimes they are mandatory and some conditions you have to make the sandhi. And in some conditions they're optional. You can make, you need not have to make. Okay, it is optional. So when they are mandatory, okay, so sandhi is like when two sounds come together, maybe two end of one word and the beginning of the second word, when you are chanting together, when they come very close, like less than half a matra close, then you may want to combine them according to certain sandhi rules. Okay, that is when sandhi happens. So let's see when sandhis are mandatory and when sandhis are not. Okay. So there's I think there's a karika. This is not a sutra, I think. So it says in blue, samhitaika pade nitya dhatu pasargayoho nitya samase vakyetu saviviksham pekshate. Okay, somebody written a karika as a memorization tool to help in Anushtubh meter so that it's easier to remember. So let me just break that. Whenever there is a verse or a shloka, to understand the shloka, first you break any sandhis, so the individual words you can get the meaning and interpret it. So samhitaika pade is two words. Samhita ekapade nitya. Okay. So samhita is sandhi. Ekapade means within a word. Nitya, always. So within a word, If two letters come in contact, you have to make sandhi whenever there is a scope for sandhi. You have to make. Nitya means always. Then nitya dhatu upasargayoho. I mentioned about there is dhatus indicating action, which are verb roots. And a lot of times the verb roots are prefixed with something else. Okay, like visha is to enter. Pra plus visha, pravesha. That's a common word. So that is pra is the upasarga, vish is the dhatu. Okay, so rabh to begin. Then there's a word arabh. That is where we get the arambha. Okay, and there's similarly prarambha, which is pra and a and rabh dhatu. Okay, two upasargas. So whenever a dhatu combines, whenever a upasarga is joined with a dhatu, if there is a scope for sandhi, that sandhi has to be made. There is no option. Okay, so within a word, and when a dhatu and upasarga are combined. The next one is nitya samase. When there is a compound word, samasa. Samasa is, we briefly mentioned that it is joining of two nouns meaningfully. Okay, the meanings are combined. So the combined word has a little different meaning than the individual contributors. In the case of sandhi, the meaning doesn't change. The individual words retain their separate meanings. Okay, so in samasa, when the two words combine, in samasa generally it is always nouns on both sides, except for one exception. So when the samasa, when the two nouns come together, if there is a possibility of sandhi, like the last letter of the first word and the first letter of the last word, they are amenable for a sandhi, then in that case, sandhi has to be made. The last one says, Vakyetu sa vibhaksham apekshate. Vakye, in a sentence, which is a group of words. Okay. Sa is referring to sandhi. Vibhaksha is choice, option. Apekshate, expects. Okay. So in the case of a sentence, you have the choice of making a sandhi or not making a sandhi, even when there is a scope for making the sandhi. This use of choice, making and not making, we see every time we chant a shloka. Okay. A lot of times there may be a possibility of a sandhi when a pada ends. A pada is like in Anushtub meter, which is the two-liner generally, just like the one there in blue on the page. So generally the Anushtub is two-liner made up of four padas. The first line will have two halves, and the second line will have two halves. So each of them is a pada or a quarter. So Anushtub meter has four padas, each pada having 8 aksharas or 8 syllables. Okay. Now, when we chant a shloka, sometimes, especially in say Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma and Bhagavad-Gītā, when at the end of one pada, say end of the first pada and end of the third pada, okay, and end of the first pada and beginning of the second pada, if there is a possibility of sandhi, sometimes people make the sandhi, sometimes people do not make the sandhi, and both of them are right. Okay, even if there's a scope for sandhi, you can make or you may not make. Generally, when somebody is chanting a popular shloka or say Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma specifically, if you're chanting alone or everybody is in the same page, like in the same group, then you might chant it without making the sandhi. So it goes free, smoothly. But if it is like somebody is chanting and the group is following, okay, so the lead and follow, then generally they stop at one at the end of a quarter, let the group recite, and then the leader will do it again. At that time, the sandhi has to be separate, even if the chances of making the sandhi is there. Because of the pause, you do not make the sandhi. Okay, because sandhi expected is done when it is a smooth, continuous flow. So that is when you make the sandhi and when you don't have to make the sandhi. Let me see whether I can get a...
Is that the reason that visarga, it becomes na lopa and it was lopa when you...
Yeah, sometimes it does, right? If visarga comes at the end of the pada,
Right.
that happens a lot of the time. Okay.
Oh.
I'm trying to see which shloka in the Gita will be a good example.
Jagdisha ji,
Yeah.
would Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam work?
Yeah, see, Shraddhavan labhate.
Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam.
Yeah, that is within the pada. So you have the option of making the sandhi or breaking the sandhi, either way. So you can say Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, or you can say Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, making the sandhi. I'm trying to see whether I can...
That Vasanti Jinan, the last line, I think, has a...
Okay, just randomly picked a verse from Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. Okay, verse 8 of Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. The verse goes, Īśānah prānadah prāno jyeshtah shrestah prajāpatihi hiranyagarbho bhūgarbho madhavo madhusūdanah. Okay, now Īśānah prānadah prāno. We know that prāno is not a common word, whereas prānaha is. Now, suppose somebody is chanting and waiting for the group to follow. Then he will say, Īśānah prānada prānaha. He will pause. The group will repeat. Then jyeshtah shrestah prajāpatihi. Okay. Then the next line, at the end of the second quarter, there is no confusion, because there is a period. There is a period. So you have to stop. Okay. Whereas between the first and the second quarter, there is no period. It is one line. The second line of the thing goes, Hiranyagarbho bhūgarbho madhavo madhusūdanah. It's like Hiranyagarbha bhūgarbha. So Hiranya, that will be Hiranyagarbho bhūgarbho, because you make the sandhi there because it is within the quarter. Okay. Even leading and following, generally you don't go word by word, you go quarter by quarter. So Hiranyagarbho bhūgarbha, by breaking the sandhi. Then Madhavo Madhusūdanah. Okay. So Madhavo Madhusūdanah, even though it is Madhavaha Madhusūdanah, you generally don't say Madhavaha Madhusūdanah, because it is within the quarter. Okay. So that kind of a vivaksha choice or option is there. Neither of them is wrong. Okay. So you can make the sandhi. In both the cases, there is a visarga sandhi, visarga becoming okara. Okay. So if you are pausing, then you don't make the sandhi. If you are not pausing, going continuously for the next quarter, then you make with the sandhi. That is where it becomes, visarga becomes O because of the visarga sandhi. Okay, now
a question.
Yeah.
But usually in the book, like Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma book, they don't break the sandhi. So
they don't break the sandhi because it is print. It is print. In the print, break is when you get a period. Danda. Okay. So danda is at the end of the second quarter and the fourth quarter.
So when you say Īśānah prānadah prānaha, right?
Yeah.
So one has to have a knowledge to, if one is chanting and
Yes.
somebody following, I have to have a knowledge that it's going to be like that.
Exactly. A lot of people take Saṁskṛta classes like this, basic Saṁskṛta class, to help or understand why this difference in chanting is there and which way to chant. A lot of people say, we want to improve our Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma pronunciation. We want to improve our Gita pronunciation, chanting.
Right.
Okay, so a lot of people take those basic pronunciation and the reading level courses. They may not be interested so much in the Panini Sutra, sandhis and all those. Sandhis they will be, because this make or break is related to sandhi. But other things like vibhaktis and kriyapada, samāsas, they may not be interested.
Right.
A lot of people do that way. But sometimes they join with just to know about the pronunciation and sandhi, and then they kind of get a little taste of the grammar and Saṁskṛta language as such. And then they might continue to higher level also. Okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, when we make this registration for this course, then we put a questionnaire there. Why do you want to learn Saṁskṛta? There's a lot of questions saying that I want to get my pronunciation and the chanting right, especially if I'm group chanting.
So can you repeat one more time how you chant in a group chanting?
Okay, if it is group, lead and follow.
Right.
Okay, then I'll say Ishana Pranada Pranaha. I will pause. The group will follow. Then Jyeshta Shreshta Prajapatihi, second quarter. Okay, then Hiranya Garbho Bhugarbhaha. Madhavo Madhusudanaha.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, now I understand. I always had a question why people are doing that when the book is saying this.
Right.
Okay, now I understand.
Now, suppose you recite Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma is so common, generally people don't need to have somebody lead and somebody follow, unless they're just starting with Viṣṇu-sahasra-nāma. But once you do that yourself, suppose you chant or a group, everybody is in the same wavelength, same expertise.
Yeah.
Then you go as a group whole, no lead and follow. Okay. Then you say Ishana Pranada Prano Jyeshta Shreshta Prajapatihi. Did you see that I didn't pause after Prano?
Right, because you didn't break the sandhi because you don't
didn't
need
break the
to.
sandhi because I am going continuous there. I stop only when there is a danda.
Okay, got it.
So if I am doing alone or the whole group is doing no lead and follow, then the right way to do, or the better way to do is Ishana Pranada Prano Jyeshta Shreshta Prajapatihi Hiranya Garbho Bhugarbho Madhavo Madhusudanaha.
Got it.
The books always print in a way that people don't have to pause. That way the book says. The book takes the period only when it gets a danda or the period.
Yeah.
Okay. The printed material.
Okay.
Thank
you.
All right. So sandhi is to be applied to either a letter which is not at the end of the word, like between the words or within the word. Okay. Has to be applied. The following explanation will be useful to understand where to apply sandhi. Okay. As for the terminologies used here, such as pada, subantapada, tiṅanatada, upasarga, dhatu, samāsa, and vakya. Okay, so these are the words you came across in there. So there needs to be a little explanation of these definitions. Okay, the word pada. Let's see what the word pada means. Okay, pada generally you can say a word. Okay, a meaningful arrangement of sounds, varnas or aksharas are arranged in such a way so that it is meaningful. So that is pada. Panini has a stricter definition. Okay. So pada, that is given here. Pada means, for Panini, in the Paninian grammar, it defines pada. Sup tiṅantam padam. That is one of the definitions. Okay. So pada means either sup ending or ting ending word. So that means I have to tell what a sup and ting is. Now, sup ending, subanta. Subanta means a noun word. There is a specifically saying noun word because there is a noun base, which we call as pratipadikam, and a vibhakti pratyaya is attached. So, say, suppose there is a word Rama is the pratipadika. It's not Ramaha, just Rama. Akaranta pullinga Rama Shabda. So when you add vibhakti pratyaya, so pratama vibhakti Ramaha, pratama vibhakti dvivachana Ramau, pratama vibhakti bahuvachana Ramaha. Okay. So the pratipadika Rama get some additions or suffixes corresponding to the vibhakti and vachana. Okay, there is 7 vibhaktis. I think everybody has heard this word. Pratama, Dvitiya, goes up to Saptami plus a Sambodhana. So these 7 vibhaktis, and then there is 3 vachanas, Ekavachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. Okay. So all these 21 case endings, so-called case endings in English, that is called vibhakti endings. And the endings are determined by the vibhakti pratyayas. These vibhakti pratyayas are called sup. Okay. Same way for the verbs. So the subantas are the noun words, tiṅanatas are the verb words. What is the very basis of a verb word? Anybody?
Like gachami,
Yeah, gachami is a verb word. What is the basic block?
gum.
Dhatu.
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 Gam is the dhatu. So dhatu
Right.
is the basic word.
Right.
So you have a dhatu and add a verbal suffix or ting pratyaya. Sup pratyaya is called nominal suffix or the noun suffix, and the ting pratyaya is called verbal suffix or ting pratyaya. Okay. So verb is the basis, add a pratyaya. So there are 18 ting pratyayas. Okay. 21 sup pratyayas which are added to a noun base, 18 ting pratyayas which suffix into the word base or the verb base. Okay. So whenever when a combination of a pratipadika and sup pratyaya, so you get a noun word. So this noun word and the verb word, they are called pada. So suppose I say gam is the dhatu and gacchati is the verb word. So gam is not a word. It doesn't have the status of a word. Okay. Same way, just the pratipadika rama without a vibhakti ending. Okay, pratipadika doesn't have the status of the word or the pada. Pada is only, it gets the status of pada and can be used in a sentence only when a pratipadika or noun stem is combined with a sup pratyaya, and the same thing with the verb. A pure verb cannot be used in a sentence. It is always used after it is suffixed by a ting pratyaya. Okay. That is why Panini says there are only 2 types of words, subantam and tiṅantam. Verb word or noun word. Okay, so if there are letters which are subject to the sandhi rules within the pada, the sandhi is compulsory. That is what is meant samhita ekapade. When within the word, samhita is made. So word is a combination of a verb root or stem, verb root or noun stem, and corresponding pratyayas. Okay, now let's give it a little bit of introduction to that. Let me change the. Okay, so I made this additional information to give you an idea. What is this pada, supratyaya, and ting pratyaya, subanta, and tiṅanta? Okay, let's look at the sup. I talked about the 21 sup pratyayas. Everybody can see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, big enough?
Yes.
Okay. Now, sup pratyaya, nominal suffix. Okay, so because the word nominal is there, nominal suffixes are added only to the nominal stems, not for dhatus. Okay. So sup pratyayas, how did you get the name sup? Okay, this is another occasion where Panini used the abbreviation. I said there is 21 sup pratyayas. Okay, pratama vibhakti, first case up to 7th case. So the 7 cases, and in each case there are 3 numbers. Okay, or plurality, singular, dual, and plural. Okay, these sup pratyayas, actually the pratyayas are given in a Paniniya Sutra, su, au, just. It just continuously, like Su, aujas, aus, at, ta, bhyam, bes, nge, bhyam, bhyas, ngasi. So continuously listed all these 21. That is the sutra. Just list the 21 sup pratyayas. Now, how does this sup pratyaya, all the vibhakti endings, how did they get their name? It gets the names just like the Maheshwara Sutras. Okay. Now, sup, the su here, the very first one is the su. Okay. And the last one, the last it letter there is pa. Okay, pa is the it letter. In the this su, the anunasika ukara is a it letter. Okay, so the actual content is just the s. Okay, so this is su, the first in the list, and the last it letter. So that is how all the 21 are together are called sup pratyayas. It involves all of these 21. Su, aujas, out, as. All those together are called sup pratyayas. That is how they get this name, sup. Okay, the su from the very first letter, the content, and pa is the it letter here. Because you can see that there is no other pa it letter in between. So sup means you're starting from here to here. Okay, that is how you get the name sup pratyaya, all the 21. Now, suppose this sup pratyaya, su, is added to a pratipadika. Let's take the pratipadika Rama. Rama is the akaranta pullinga. Okay, so Rama plus su. There's some sandhi rules and some other rules come in. That is how you get Ramaha. So just the pratipadika doesn't have visarga, doesn't have the doesn't have the dirgha and visarga, all those things. The pratipadika is just Rama. Okay. Now this thing I copied from the book 2, because in our book 1, where we talk about this at the appropriate time. Okay. But now because we talked about subtingantam padam, that is why I have to explain what is subanta and what is tiṅanta. To explain what is subanta and what is tiṅanta, to explain what is sup pratyayas and what is ting pratyayas. So, su, au, jas. Let's just take the first vibhakti, first case. Su, au, jas are the 3 first vibhakti pratyayas for singular, plural, dual. When you add this su, au, jas to the pratipadika Rama, that is how you get Ramaha ekavachana, Ramau dvivachana, Ramaha bahuvachana. Okay. Let's take the other end example. So the 7th vibhakti, Rama pratipadika plus ni pratyaya, and then some sandhi rules and some other rules come in. You end up with Rame, in Rama. Okay, the 7th vibhakti ekavachana. So Rama pratipadika plus os sup pratyaya, you will get Rama yoho. Okay, so all these steps or the process from which Rama plus os becomes Rama yoho, we will discuss that when we come to book 1. At least in some examples, we will discuss what the steps involved from Rama plus os becomes Rama yoho, and in the bahuvachana, Rama plus sup. This sup is a 7-3. 7th vibhakti bahuvachana is the sup. So Rama plus sup becomes Rameshu. Okay, that is the Saptami bahuvachana form of Rama, in Ramas. Okay, so this is the sup pratyayas. That is the subanta. So Ramaha is a noun word. Rama is the pratipadika, noun base or noun stem. Ramaha is a word. So Ramaha is a pada or word, so it can be used in a sentence. Just Rama will not be used in a sentence, because in sentence, Rama doesn't have a status of the word yet, because it is not combined with the vibhakti.
Is there a meaning to the supratyayas, these 21 of them?
Okay, yes, of course. Okay, the first su pratyaya means it says it is pratama vibhakti ekavachana. Okay, pratama vibhakti means karta, the doer. Okay, suppose Rama goes to forest, Ramaha vanam gacchati. Okay, Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana is karta, one who does the job of going to the forest. Okay, and same way, second one is the second Vibhakti denotes karma. Okay, so suppose Ramaha Ravanam Marayati. Okay, Rama kills Ravana. So he's a Ramaha because Rama is the karta of killing action. So that should be in the Prathama Vibhakti. Whereas Ravana is in the Dvitiya Vibhakti because he is the karma pada. He is the one who is suffering the results of the action. Okay, all these things we will discuss in detail when we come to the Vibhaktis in book 1. Okay, so each of the Vibhakti ending has a very, very definite meaning.
So karma is not an object, karma is not an activity, it's an object.
Karma is the one that suffers the results of the activity.
Okay, doc.
Okay, so if you are eating a fruit, the fruit is being eaten. So fruit is karma pada. You are the karta.
Object.
Object. Okay.
How do we remember this, Jagdishji?
Remember what?
21. I'm trying to recall. See how do
Okay,
I?
that is the homework.
Okay.
Okay. So there are a couple of things. At least to start with, the two of these tables I want you to by heart in a few weeks. One is this Rama Shabda. Okay. So Rama Rama Rama. Suppose a word Ramaya comes. Okay. Then you should be able to say, okay, this is fourth case. Ekavachana. Okay. So because this is required to understand Panini Sutras, the case endings and which Vibhakti it is. At least 3-4 Vibhaktis Panini uses in his sutras. That is why 2 words is there at the end of this slide. Rama Shabda and the Marut Shabda. Okay, because they will be very useful in interpreting Panini Sutras. And I think a lot of people in this class already by-hearted Rama Shabda.
Mahodaya, quick question.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the table to the right or also the table to the left?
Cable to the right. Okay, cable
Okay.
to the left. If you understand, if you can relate this table to the right to where it comes from, it is okay. But we are going to study that in book 1. Right now, if you say the endings, looking at the endings, if you can relate it to the case and vachana, that's all we need for the understanding the sutras.
Okay, thank you.
What
Okay.
was the
The-
second?
Suppose you get a thing, something instead of Rama, it may be something else, and ends with the Sya. Then you should be able to say, okay, this is 6th Vibhakti Ekavachana. And suppose something ends with the Nam, then you should be able to say, oh, this is 6th Vibhakti Bahuvachana. Okay, because in the Panini Sutras, Vibhaktis 5, 6, 7, and 1 are used in the sutras. Okay, in the sentences, all the 21 will be used in common sentences, you see, but Panini uses only a few Vibhaktis in these sutras to save time.
So the 21 pratyayas, how did that come about? I mean, what is is it a rule? Is it how did that even exist for us to remember? I'm trying to make sense of it.
Okay, let's say before Panini's time, okay,
Yes.
the word Rama was there in Rama because Ramayana has already been written. Let's just take an example of Ramayana.
Yes.
When you tell thousands of verses about Rama, most likely all the Vibhaktis will have come.
Right.
Okay, at least in the singular, all the singulars will have come.
Right.
Yes, and suppose Panini sees a word Ramena. Okay?
Yes.
And then in say Mahabharata, that he might see a word like Arjunena, because Mahabharata also was there before his time.
Right.
Okay? And then so many other words like this in the Vedas and Upanishads. I am just giving this Ramayana, Mahabharata examples because we know the character names.
Yes.
Okay. So then Panini has to write a rules or these sutras combining a common features of this. So he will have looked at this and find out how can we explain as a general rule, or not just for Rama, and it should be applicable for feminine also, it should be applicable for neuter also. So that way he came up with these pratyayas. Okay. Then all the rules of the sandhi to go from the pratyayas, pratipadika combination to get into this. Okay, so these pratyayas are likely the grammarians figured out by looking at the commonality of all the case endings in all different nouns.
So the 21 can be applied to any other word?
What do you mean any other word? So
here we used Rama as the base.
Yeah.
Let's see, take Sita.
Yes.
Same Supratyaya can
Same
be.
supratyayas, but Sita being a akaranta strilinga.
Right.
Rama is akaranta pullinga, short a. Okay. So
Yes.
when the reaction happens between Sita and Su or Sita and okay, because of the ending of Sita is not the same as Radha or Rama, and Rama is Pullinga and Sita is Strilinga. So the final Subanta word for Sita might look a little different or will look a little different. Okay. For example, Rama plus Su will become Ramaha. Okay, as you see here.
Yes. Yes.
Whereas Sita plus Su will become Sita only, because there are certain rules. Panini Sutras come in, says if it is a Akaranta, this rule applies. If it is Akaranta, this rule applies. If Pullinga, something else happens. If it is Strilinga, some other thing happens. Okay. But these pratyayas are same. But the linga and ending of the pratipadika depends on what the final result is. Okay. So these pratyayas, so the supratyayas are same, whether it's pullinga, strilinga, napumsakalinga, doesn't matter. Okay. But because based on the property of the pratipadika, okay, only two properties. What is the ending letter and what is the gender? Based on that, the end will be different. Okay, so subanta form will be different.
Okay.
Like for example, you have the phala. Phala is napumsakalinga. It is akaranta also, just like Rama. Phala is also napumsakalinga, akaranta. But
yes,
phala is napumsakalinga.
Uh-huh.
So in the case of phala, when you add the su au just to phala, pratipadika, okay, you end up with phalam, phale, phalani, because it is napumsakalinga.
Oh.
Okay, Ramaha, Ramo, Ramaha, pullinga. Okay, Sita, Site, Sitaha, phalam, phale, phalani. See the difference?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So Phala and Rama is a good example because they are ending in the same. But because of the gender difference, the Subanta will appear different. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. So this.
Jagadish, what was the second shabda you said?
What is that?
The second shabda.
Example?
Yes.
Yeah, phalam, phala. Fruit.
Okay.
Fruit or result. The phalam, phala shabda is napumsakalinga. So in the Prathama Vibhakti, it is phalam, phale, phalani. Okay. And in Napumsakalinga, Dvitiya Vibhakti and Prathama Vibhakti are the same. Phalam, phale, phalani, phalam, phale, phalani. Okay. Say, for example, in the Pullinga, Dvitiya Ekavachana is phalau. But in Napumsakalinga, Dvitiya Vibhakti will be phale. In Pullinga, it is Ramau. Okay. So the subanta form, even though the sup pratyayas are same, the subanta form will or most of the times appear differently based on the ending letter of the pratipadika and the gender of what the pratipadika represents. Okay. So we are going to have a lot more deeper discussion on those when you come to book 1. We talk about nouns, because the book 1, the whole book, which is book 1 is much thicker than the book we are handling, book 2. And whole of the book one is nothing but how the nouns and verbs. That's it.
Mahodaya, quick question, and you may discuss this later, but I understand how we have the table of 21 on the right-hand side because that is there in the literature already.
Yeah.
But the pratyayas themselves, I'm
Yeah.
sure they're not there in the literature. Where did they come from?
They're not in the literature. I told you the grammarian came up with those pratyayas, looking at the commonality between all the Pullinga Pratama Vibhaktis, all the Strilinga Pratama Vibhaktis. So grammarian, we are assigning it to Panini, but a lot of people worked on that before Panini also. Okay.
Okay, so, but the particular form, namely su, au, just, that was just,
those things you will see only in grammar books.
okay. And they're just made up. I mean, they're not come from literature. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay. So that is about subantam. So we said the sup tiṅantam padam. So here is the sutra. Okay, 144. This is Panini says the pada status is given only for subanta or tiṅanta. So sup plus ting are called connectively called supting, suptiṅantam. So supanta and tiṅanta collectively called as suptiṅantam. Those are the only those only get the status of padam. So we talked about subantam. Same way, let's look at tiṅantam now. So subanta is noun word. So the nominal suffixes supratyayas combined with a pratipadika will give you a subantam or a noun word. Let's look at the tiṅantam now. Okay, verb words. So that we have some room here. So just like the sup pratyaya su aujas. Okay. Oh, something is missing. I had another table there. So yeah, I had another table. I think it got deleted somehow. Yeah, it got deleted somehow. Okay, so there is a ting pratyayas, just like sup pratyayas. There are ting pratyayas, which goes like tip, tas, ji, like that it goes, and that is what we get for the verb words. Like suppose there's a pat dhatu is there or pach dhatu is there. Okay. So pach plus ti will give you pachati. This is a verb word. This comes from the ting pratyaya. There is a tip is the very first pratyaya here. And the last word is mahing, the last pratyaya. I had a table like this, which gave only the pratyayas. And I think while saving, I might have accidentally hit something and deleted that. I will bring that up in the next class because I cut and paste. And it is there. If anybody has your volume 1 book handy, all these ting pratyayas can be seen in page Congregational.
It's page 9 in my book, Mahodaya.
Okay,
Yeah.
page 9. It's in multiple pages. Page
Thank you.
9, maybe. Yeah, page 9. Both of them are there on page 9. Okay, both supratyayas and ting pratyayas are there in page 9. Okay, if you have it handy, you can look at that. And if not, I will. I had cut and pasted from the same source here with the same bluish background, but I think I might have accidentally deleted it. Okay, so the tip pratyayas or the ting pratyayas, the very first pratyaya is tip. Okay, so tip, see my cursor, tip tas ji. Okay, that is where the ti taha anti comes. Like pachati is pach plus tip becomes pachati. Okay, pach plus tas becomes pachataha. Okay, pach plus ji becomes pachanti. Okay, so this is how it ends finally. The z, which is the pratyaya, which will end up like this, pachanti. So the verbs are generally classified as two types, like a prasmaipada and atmanepada. Their vibhakti and the tiṅanta endings will be little different. So there are 18 ting pratyayas, 9 for parasmaipada dhatus, and other 9 are applied for atmanepadi dhatus. Okay. So there are dhatus which are called parasmaipadi. So their ending will go with the ti taha anti. And the atmanepada dhatus end with the te, ite, ante. Okay. So you can see the example here. The pachati, pachataha, pachanti is a parasmaipada. Pachate, pachete, pachante. That will be the form for atmanepada. Okay. So the ting pratyayas, the very first pratyaya is tip. So you take the first letter of tip. And the last pratyaya here is mahing, kakagaganga. Okay, the it letter there is mahing. So the first letter, just like the abbreviations we used earlier, pratyahara, take the first letter and take the last it letter. Okay, maha, mahing. So ti and ing, all the 18 pratyayas are together called ting pratyayas. Okay, that is how the ting comes from. So ting pratyaya at the end of which, those are called tiṅanatas. Sup pratyaya, or the words that ending with sup pratyaya are subantapadas. The words that end with the ting pratyaya is the tiṅanta words. The ting pratyayas are applied only to the dhatus. So all the tiṅantas are verb words, okay, indicating an action. So just like the vibhakti and vachana in the case of supratyayas, in the case of ting pratyayas, they represent pratama purusha, madhyama purusha, uttama purusha. Okay, so the third person, second person, and the first person. And the three columns are for the same: ekavachana, dvivachana, bahuvachana. Okay. Any questions now?
Jagdish, is that Pach Dhatu is Ubhayapadi?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. I thought I was waiting for somebody to say. So I said some dhatus are parasmaipadi, some dhatus are atmanepadi. There are a few dhatus which appear in both cases or both forms, parasmaipadi and atmanepadi. And such dhatus, very few, maybe about 14 or something like that. Such dhatus are called ubhayapadis, okay, because they have both parasmai and ubhayapada rupas. Okay, Pach is one of those. That is why the author took this example of Pach for both. Okay, ubhayapada. Like for gam, you don't have gamete, things won't be there because gam is a purely parasmaipada. So you will get gacchati, gacchataha, gacchanti. Same way, patha, to read, it is parasmaipada only. You won't get the pathate, pathete form, will never get, okay, because it is pure parasmaipadi. Okay, so you'll get only patati, patataha, patanti, patase, patatha, patatha, patami, patavaha, patamaha. Okay.
A good question.
Yeah.
You just mentioned about mahing, and
Yeah.
you pointed your arrow to ti, parasmaipada, and then all the way to atmane mahe.
Yeah.
So the mahing. So so you combine like a ti, that's what the grammar rule is, the ti and the atmanepadam last one, and then it became mahing.
There's no grammar rule. You know the how we make pratyaharas, the abbreviations in the Maheshwara Sutra. You take the very first letter you want to include in the list.
Okay.
And take the ith letter that comes after the last thing you want to be in the list.
Oh, got it. Okay, okay.
Okay, like if you want to say ak, all the simple vowels.
Yeah.
You wanted to increase ai, l.
Right.
Right. So you take the a first letter, and what is the ith letter that comes after l? K, right? So you make a pratyahara ak.
Right. Okay.
And if I say ak, you did the homework also. If the pratyahara as for ak, your answer is ak equals ai, l.
Right.
Same logic here. Take the very first of the content. Okay. Here the pratyaya is tip, but the pa is the ith letter. So leave that out. The content is just the ti, just like the a in the ak, a. So ti. And the last, after the last one, what is the ith letter? Here the ith letter is mahing. I will put that up next before the list of the thing pratyayas later on. Okay. That ends with the mahing. So starting from 3, ti, all the way up to ng, all the things, all the 18 things are called ting. Okay. So ting includes ti, taha, anti, or tiptas, zi. In the list, tiptas, ji, siptas, tha, mip, was, mas, ta, atam, ja, tas, atham, dvam, it, wahi, mahi. Because after the mahi, you have mahing.
But when you're saying mahing, but in reality, you have a word called mahe.
Mahe, because when suppose you have pach plus mahing, there are certain rules step by step. When you derive it, okay, it ends up with mahe.
Got it. Okay. And that's a Panini rule.
That is, those are a set of Panini rules. It may not be in one step. There will be multiple steps.
Very clear. Thank you, Jagdish.
Okay. And then when we come to the derivation of the verb words in book 1, then we might do 1 or 2 examples.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Jagdish, one question.
Yeah.
One question.
Yeah.
You mentioned the table of these thing pratyayas in book 1. I cannot find them in anywhere in book 1.
Okay, book 1, page 9.
Page 9.
Yeah, the book 1 is basic structure of language.
Yeah, but I don't see it.
On page 9?
Yeah, page 9, I don't see it.
Do you have 2 tables?
No.
Oh.
I think they are just blank.
Oh.
I think you got the book with that page blank. I think this was a problem. Did you buy this book from bookstore?
Yeah, I did.
I think that was a problem. They missed it.
Yeah, I don't have page 9 is tenses and moods, and page 10 is verbal suffixes. But the tables are blank.
Oh, I see. Something happened in the printing. It's like a typo or printing error.
Yeah,
or copying error maybe.
Yeah, I have a lot of these pages with blank tables. Almost.
Okay. So
almost
when you go next time to the ashram, talk to Prasanna ji and let her know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mahodaya, maybe she can print the PDF. She can print the PDF for the pages.
You can get from the PDFs.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, and let me see whether that's those what I'm talking about. Let me open that and then share that page. Class. So I have to go to volume 1, ESG volume 1.
Yeah.
EC volume 1. Okay, so I am on the PDF. Let me new share. How do I do that? Okay, new share. Let me see this. Okay, do you see my other screen?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, now that I am on that. Okay, here it is. Page 9. Okay. So what I was talking about is this. So
Yeah.
in the printed book, suppose you got the not Xerox copied one, the printed
Yeah.
one, say from Amazon, or you got that a glossy bound thing, not the spiral bound, then this will be page numbers will be right.
Okay, I think I got the book from the Arshavidya only, but
Yeah.
it's just blank.
Okay, so it is like a spiral bound, right?
Yeah, it's a spiral bound.
Okay, so I think they copied and made the spiral bound here.
Okay.
So maybe while copying and assembling, maybe they assembled only odd number pages or even number pages. Something might have happened while binding.
The pages are numbered correctly, but as I said, all the book is just blank tables,
Oh,
like as if it is a homework or something like that.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is the issue. Okay?
Yeah, we can figure it out, you know.
Yeah.
Either from the
even
book.
otherwise, if I haven't put already, I think I have already put volume 1 in the PDF in the Google Drive. If not, I will put. Okay, there's you can go back to page 9 and see. So this is what I'm saying.
Yes.
Okay? So tip plus G. This is what I was reading from. Now it is in front of you. So T, the author has made it thicker. So the T from the very first one, and Ng is the ith letter corresponding to the last of the ting pratyaya.
Right.
Okay. So this T and Ng, our regular procedure of making the abbreviation. Okay. The first, the content of the very first one, and the ith letter after the last one.
Right.
Okay. So all the way, tip plus G, all the way up to it, wahi, mahi. So those are all the 18 ting pratyayas. And because it starts with the T and the last ith letter is Nga, they collectively are called ting pratyayas. Okay, here. They are called ting because they start with the T and end with the Nga.
Okay.
Okay, now let's go back. This is the table I missed. That is there. This table has to go on top of the other one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Is there a translation for Parasmaipadi and Atmanepadi? What does that mean?
There is no translation because that concept is not there in English.
Okay, so what is the concept? I mean, I don't know if you want to go now or later, but
we will talk about that when we come to the verb part of book 1. Okay, but generally, this is not a strict rule. Okay, there are exceptions. So generally, the Parasmaipadi is the result of the action goes to somebody else, para. And in the Atmanepadi, those are the kind of verbs where the result of the verb goes to the doer himself.
Okay. Thank you.
For example, in the word pachati, okay, suppose our Ramachandran in the ashram, if he cooks for all the camp attendees, okay, then you use the word like pachati because he is cooking for the others. Okay. Suppose he is at home and he is cooking for himself, then you can use the word pachate. Make sense?
Okay. Yes.
Because he is the one who is going to enjoy the fruits of his action. Whereas in the pachati, somebody else is going to enjoy the fruits of his action. Now, this is not true for all the dhatus. For pachi, it helps perfectly because a cook can cook for himself or he can cook for others. Okay. So now let me go back.
Let me ask you one question, please.
Yeah.
On the same table, type P, the tip, sip, and mip, only the first letter counts T, C, and me?
Yeah, because the ending ones are it letters.
So then why is in plural the ending one doesn't exist? The first...
That is what I said. There are one or more steps in the derivation of a verb word. Okay, so pach plus G becomes pachanti. There are multiple steps involved in that. Okay, it is not just the copying and pasting of the content of the pratyaya. Some cases it is, some cases it is not. You might have seen that in Rama also. In the Ramau, it is just like the aus is added, but it's not the same for Ramam or Ramaha.
Mahodaya, I think the question is, in tip, the pa is the ith letter, but in G, there is no ith letter. That's what he's asking.
Correct.
It's not only that, because anti has nothing common with G, even the jakara. Okay, so a lot of things are different. It's not only the ith letter. Okay, so some of them have the ith letter, some of them don't. There are specific reasons. The reasons you will understand when all the steps of derivations are given.
Okay.
Okay. So we will get to those things, at least for some examples, like P and G, at least the third person singular ones. We will get into that when we get into the derivation of verb words from dhatu plus pratipadika. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Dhatu and ting pratyaya. Same way, we'll do some examples for the supratyayas also. Because the derivation, there are 21 of them, 18 of them here. And if each of them takes 3 or 4 steps, including those 3 or 4 Panini Sutras, it will take a lot of time. But then we can give at least, the third person singular plural, then you get the feel. Okay. So that we will do when we come to the verbs and nouns. Now here, my idea is just to say tiṅantam, how it gets the name tiṅantam. Okay, let's see, stop this share, then share screen. Let me go back to, okay, this is the one I was sharing. Okay, so that table I will have to introduce here. It is there, but accidentally deleted.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can make a sense. Okay, tip, the T will have come from tip. The same way, Z will have come from anti, but it is not very obvious unless you go through all the steps. Okay, and that is beyond the scope of this section, but it will be included in the scope of the verb words in book 1. Okay. We will stop here because there are examples here. So, see, for example, this is what I said. A subanta pada is pratipadika, nominal base, plus sup pratyaya, nominal suffix. Same way, a tiṅanta pada is a dhatu, which is a verb root, plus ting pratyaya. I told that several times, but here is the sketch from the book 1 again. Okay, there is described in great detail, all of this. So I have another class at 7:30. So I think we will close here and we'll continue from this in the next class.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's do the prayers before we go. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet, asatoma sadgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritangamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thanks everybody. Any questions?
Thank you, Mahodaya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahodaya. Thank you.
Om Shubharatrihi.
Shubhratri.
Jagdish, one question.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly confused today. I don't know. It's like, I could not get that 18 thing. In Thing Pratyaya, you're showing the 18 letters, right? I could not. I'm trying to look at the Maheshwara Sutra and trying to find out that. I
No,
could not
you won't get it in Maheshwara Sutras because they are just listed as one long sutra. So if you want to look up for Maheshwara Sutra, look up for a sutra that starts with Tiptas Ji. Give me a second. I'll give you the sutra number, okay?
Could you also tell everybody to light a candle or diya this Sunday and say a prayer?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jai Sri Ram.
Jai Sri Ram.
Okay. So the sutra number is 3478.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
if you see 3478, you will see that all these 18 pratyayas are just made as if like one word. Okay. So you have this table in front of you to break them into 18 components.
Okay. Yeah, I may have to revisit today's class. It's a little bit confusing for me. I will go through the recording.
It may be. We will just go over that next class also.
Thank you. Yeah.
In the beginning. Okay.
Yep,
And if you have any specific questions, you can send me the questions in the WhatsApp. But it is necessary to clarify this. But at least, you don't have to clarify this. Here, the whole idea is to understand what is a tiṅanta pada.
Yeah.
Okay. How the ti comes and how the anti comes, that is not the scope of this book. This book, it is in the scope of the first book.
Yeah, the left side table I could not fully follow because you asked me to memorize on the right side one Rama, Rama, that's one. But the left side one I
So
was
you
trying
just memorize that the Pratama is Rama, 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 Chaturthi is Ramaya, Ramabhyam, Ramebhya, like that.
Okay. All right.
And it's not necessary for the next class. When we start into Swara Sandhi, then we will go with Panini Sutras. That is when knowing the Vibhakti and Vachana will be useful.
Okay.
So you have enough time.
Okay.
Mahodaya, for my curiosity, what was the sutra again?
Sutra is 3, 2.
You said 3478.
Okay, that is it then. Tiptas G. I have to look up in the book. Yeah, 3478.
Yes, that's correct, Mahodaya. I found it. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Jagadishaji. Thank you.
Night all.
Good night.